Alright guys, how are we doing today? This is Ben again. I figured that I'd do a little bit of a comparison video between these two here bikes. I looked around on the internet. I see lots of comparisons between the CBRs and the Ninja 250s and the Ninja 300s or the CBR 250s, and I don't know that much about motorcycles, so for all I know these are not exactly comparable bikes, but from the research I've done and when I was looking at buying them, the CBR is my wife's bike, the FZ6R is my bike, and these seemed like they were pretty good entry-level bikes without going down to a 250, so I figured that I'd do a little bit of a comparison and show them to you guys today so that you could see some of the little differences, and I can explain to you a little bit about them. There are some major fundamental differences between the two bikes though. Obviously the Honda's listed as a 500 and the FZ6R is a 600. I'll give you some more details in a minute. The Honda's a parallel twin 2-cylinder engine. The FZ6R is a 4-cylinder engine, and that's running at a true the FZ6R is running at, I think, a true 600 cc's. I think the Honda is running about 407. I actually have a spec sheet I can pull up for you and give you more information here. They're both liquid cooled, 471 cc's on the Honda. They're both liquid cool, fuel injected. The Honda puts out about 47 or 48 horsepower, I believe, from the factory. The FZ6R puts out about 72. So the Yamaha's a little bit faster, but you'll notice that the Yamaha is actually pretty well detuned though. I think it's the same engine that's in their YZ bike, their bigger bike. And I think they just detuned the engine down to make it not so overly powerful. So, give you an idea of. I can't see what I'm shooting, so if my angles are bad, I apologize. Here's the gauge cluster. The one nice thing that FZ has is this temperature gauge up here. I don't know how well you can see it, but that's a very useful thing. When it's too low, like when you're first starting out, if the engine hasn't been running, it says low. So you'll know to let your engine warm up a little bit. This has a digital and analog matchup. It's your tachometer, obviously. Both have, it has a fuel gauge, clock, odometer. So good bike. This backlights, I think somebody said orange in a different video. I'm actually colorblind, so I couldn't tell you completely, but I think this backlight's orange. This is not backlight orange. I don't know what color this backlight's, but I'll show you the Hondas. Now the Honda is all digital. And your tachometer actually runs along the top here. This red line's at 10,000. Yamaha red line's at 13, I believe. Your fuel gauge over here, odometer and clock. Both have neutral and high beam signals, and your regular warning lights and things of that matter. So they're pretty comparable there. A little bit of your handlebars. On the CBR here, you have your horn here, your turn signals here, and your high beam and low beam here. Where on the Yamaha, it's actually stacked a little bit differently. So I've been honking the horn a lot inadvertently because the horn's here, the turn signal's here on this one, and then your high beams and low beams are up here. One cool thing with the, let me shut these off so I don't kill the batteries. One cool thing with the FZ though, compared to the Honda, is that you have this little knob up here. And this allows you to change the throw of the brake lever in case your hands are smaller or bigger. And so that's kind of a nice little feature to have. And you can also actually, and I couldn't tell you how to do it, but on this seat will actually go up and down about 3/4 of an inch. They both are single shock. The shock in this one's back here and the Honda's back here. Shock here. They both have adjustable shocks, monocoque shocks, both chain driven. The exhaust on this one is a little bit of a larger kind of exhaust. It runs the length of the tire if you like that style. Where the Yamaha is down here, it's a little under chassis exhaust. Give you an idea what the foot pedals look like. As you can see, the Honda's a little more closed off here with their system. They, you know, this is nice. It's comfortable for resting your legs up against. Some of this stuff's a little bit more open over here on your engine side on the Yamaha. So I don't know. It's mostly a stylistic thing. Now you don't really notice it too much when you're riding. This tank, the way that the tank is on this compared to, like, I don't know if you can see the kind of side fairings on the tank here compared to here. It definitely fits a little bit differently. I would say that the Yamaha might just be a little bit wider. And so if you're a bigger built person or something like that, the Yamaha is going to be a little bit bigger. It is slightly heavier too. I think it's like a 20 or 30 pound weight difference between the two bikes. Let me show you the headlights. I know I'm kind of going ADD. I don't know what all to show you guys. I've never really done videos like these. So it's the headlight. Let me turn this on for you actually. You know what? I'm going to have to turn the bike all the way on. I wondered if they came on during the day or not. The Honda's does. So that's the low beam. That's the high beam. Turn signals. Give you an idea. Those look like. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start the Yamaha up, let you hear how it sounds when it starts up, and that way I can show you the headlight also. And as soon as I'm done starting the Yamaha up, I'll shut it off. I'll turn on the CBR so you can kind of hear them right back to back. So here we go. This is the Yamaha. Kill that. We'll turn on the CBR for you. Now, so the Yamaha is definitely louder at speed, and when you rev it a little bit harder, I can tell you that. There's definitely some differences I'm noticing. I haven't actually had these sitting right next to each other. There's definitely a little bit of a more aggressive stance with the Honda over the Yamaha. You can really notice it back here with the way that this seat angles compared to the way that the Honda's more angles up, kind of leans you forward just a tiny bit more. Same thing with the tank. You can kind of see the slope here is kind of a little more forward leaning on the CBR, so you like a little bit more of an aggressive look. I guess the Honda is probably a little bit more. I plan on eliminating this rear assembly here and integrating it into the headlight because I don't like how it looks really, but I'll give you a shot of the wheels here. And you'll notice that there is this pinstriping on this wheel. It came stock. There's the same type of pinstriping on my wife's CBR, but she actually did that aftermarket. So they come stock just plain black. You see the difference in the discs on the rear brakes. They're both single disc rear. I believe they're both dual disc front. Actually, the Honda is only single disc front, but it definitely looks like a larger diameter disc. So what I'll tell you is that, and a lot of this has to do, my wife was saying that it has to do with the way that you're built, I think, but the CBR is a more probably generally balanced bike. When you're taking it around corners, when you're accelerating, accelerates a little bit smoother. It might have a little bit to do with the power. When you're cornering, it feels more even. Like when you're going through the corners, you don't feel like it's really throwing you around very much. On the Yamaha, because it has more power, when you're accelerating, it's definitely, you know, when you're really on the throttle, it shifts through a little bit harder. Although the clutch and the shifter itself is actually easier on the Yamaha when you're shifting through the gears. Like just moving the pedal itself is actually a little bit easier on the Yamaha. But and when you corner in the Yamaha, you feel like you're able to shift your weight a little bit faster. Like it's almost like I don't know if top heavy is the word or what it is. Or maybe like my wife said, it's just the way that I'm built or the way I sit on the bikes. But when I go through the corners in the Yamaha, I kind of feel like it's shifting back and forth a little bit faster. It's not quite as even as the Honda. They both get decent gas mileage. The treading on the tires, I don't know if I've really shown you directly behind view. I think they're pretty close. Looks like maybe the rear tire on the CBR is a little bit bigger. I'm not 100% sure. Both good bikes. They're both pretty good for beginners. I've only been riding for 6 weeks, so I'm not an experienced rider by any means. And I push both the bikes pretty good on accelerating. I push both the bikes pretty hard on corners. And I like them for different reasons. Like I said, the Honda's smoother, it's more balanced, but the Yamaha's kind of got this mean grittiness to it, where you can kind of throw it around in the corners a little bit, and you can, you know, obviously with the benefit of the extra 27 horsepower, whatever it is, you can get on it a little bit harder on the Yamaha. I will tell you, we paid almost exactly $6,000 for the CBR, brand new. We paid $7,100 on the nose for the FZ6R. We live in Arkansas, so I don't know how that varies. That doesn't include taxes or whatever. That's just what we paid for the bikes. In the state of Arkansas, you pay your taxes separate. So. Well, guys, you can see the mirrors. I guess I'll show you the mirrors too a little bit. There I am, my scruffy self. Brakes are a little firmer. I guess that's a good thing to mention. On the FZ, when you go to actually lay down the pressure on your brake, there's not really any give in the brakes compared to the CBR. When you pull on the CBR, you kind of ease into the brakes and slow it down, where on the CBR you kind of got to really get on it. I know the CBR you can get with ABS. I think you can get the FZ6R with ABS. Neither one of ours has it. We weren't really interested in it for no apparent reason. I couldn't tell you why. We just didn't feel like custom ordering the bikes, and we took a safety course to teach us how to brake properly under emergency conditions and things like that. So, well, guys, I hope you liked it. I'm not really experienced with motorcycles. I don't know a whole ton about them, so I don't know exactly what to tell you guys, but I hadn't seen really too many reviews and too many comparisons between these two bikes. But I did a lot of research when I was looking to buy mine, which is obviously I went the FZ, and when I was comparing them, it was really, I either had to buy the CBR500 or drop down to a 250 or 300 with the Ninja, or jump up to like a GSX600 or something like that that's rocking 120 horsepower. And with being still a new rider, I didn't feel very comfortable going with that much power. So the FZ was really what I thought was the most comparable bike in this range with the CBR500R, and that's why I went with it. I like how it looks. It's funny because I'm a sports car kind of guy, and I normally like something that's way more aggressive looking, and the CBR is definitely more aggressive looking than the Yamaha. So you thought I would have preferred that, but I actually like the CBR, and they have a paint called the Repsol paint job. I don't know if that's how you enunciate it, but that's only available in the 600RR or the 250. The 600RR is, well, audacious. The seat is more comfortable on the CBR. It might have to do with, like, again, with the seating position, the way it works out. This a little smoother kind of as it comes through here. Where on this, you're kind of more of a multi-tiered level. Alright guys, back up and just give you a view of both bikes in the back. I'll throw in some riding videos of both at the end of this, kind of doing some comparisons. I'll ride the same route, kind of set them next to each other, give you a better idea of how they ride and things of that matter. Thanks for watching, guys.